name is Quinton Holder. My aviation career started about 15 years ago, where I joined an airline hoping to become a pilot. That clearly did not happen. 7 years ago, I joined IATA, heading up the IATA Environmental Assessment Program, where since I've been working with more than 40 airlines to help them improve their environmental management. Before I speak to you about IEnvA, is this mic all right? Okay. But before I speak to you about IEnvA, I would like to provide some context first. When we speak about environment, when we hear environment, we tend to jump to think about emissions, waste, water, noise. Perhaps we think about biodiversity, wildlife trafficking, we think net zero, perhaps even renewables. But there's a precursor to that. We're jumping the gun to an extent. Let me explain. An organization that takes their finances seriously will have a financial management system in place that guides and supports the organization and runs their day-to-day operations and guides those operations to make decisions on financial matters. In fact, it's so important that it's a legal requirement. I think we can all agree that financial management is critical. In the same way, an organization that takes environmental performance seriously will have, you can guess what, an environmental management system in place. An environmental management system will enable the organization to control, monitor, track, report, disclose, and ultimately improve environmental management. That is what we call environmental management, and I'll speak to you about that over the next few minutes. There are three important components for us to understand about environmental management. So the first one is having leadership involvement, leadership buy-in, and vision. Without leadership support, good environmental management for any organization is a no-starter. Without a vision in place, you have no purpose. You don't know where you are going. You don't know what your ambitions are. And when I speak about a vision, this is not just something that exists in the hearts and minds of the organization's staff and in their CEO. This is a real thing that exists on paper, on their website, that explains to their internal stakeholders and their customers, external stakeholders, co-chair partners perhaps, business partners. This is who we are, and this is where we are going. Once you have leadership and vision in place, then you need to understand your organizational context. So whether you're an airline, an airport, ground services provider, you need to understand exactly what you are doing and where you are carrying out those activities. You need to understand in detail what those activities are and where you are carrying them out. So if it's a region, a jurisdiction, maybe specific countries, you need to have those details, because now that organization needs to understand and identify the environmental impacts related to the activities, risks, perhaps even opportunities, and also understand the stakeholders that may be involved. And those stakeholders will have their expectations. So it's very important to understand that organizational context. Only then, when you have that leadership involvement, you understand where you are going, and you understand exactly the impacts that you should be looking at, your stakeholders and your risks and perhaps opportunities, then you can start by building a strategy, perhaps break that strategy down into plans and understand exactly what you need to achieve, the objectives that you need to achieve, and put the necessary plans in place to ultimately improve your organization's environmental performance. IATA has developed a program containing a set of standards and recommended practices supported by guidance, and quite a lot of guidance, may I say, that contains clear and pragmatic requirements for introducing a robust environmental management system into an aviation organization. We developed this program based on 3 principles. Community learning first. We worked with our member organizations to develop this program, and we continue to work with our member organizations to evolve the program, to build best practice, and to learn from their experience so that it continues to be useful. After all, in the aviation industry, we face the same challenges, but we also have similar solutions. So it makes sense to learn from each other, see what works, what doesn't work. Second is we take a risk-based approach. While we recognize the commonalities in the industry, we also recognize that some of our organizations, some of our IEnvA member organizations, do face some unique challenges and have some unique situations. So the program also takes a risk-based approach for these organizations to identify these challenges and also to address them. And the third point, the third principle really, is external verification. All our member organizations undergo independent external assessment. You may call it an audit or a verification. This adds the credibility for recognition by their customers, but also credibility for their business partners and external stakeholders, and also the staff. So these organizations that have this registration can credibly speak to their business partners and their customers. So what makes IEnvA unique? So IEnvA, the IATA Environmental Assessment, why take this if you're an aviation organization? Well, number one, it contains a consistent environmental management standard for the aviation industry. There's lots of value in the consistency for organizations working together in one industry. This allows for a consistent and holistic approach for banks, our investors, our business partners to recognize environmental performance. Emmy spoke about the importance of metrics, environmental metrics. This is the precursor to that. It also allows for improvement, scoring improvement where external sustainability rating agencies may be rating our organizations, our airlines, our airports, and also our ground service providers. Number two, it is the only aviation-focused environmental management system. It is familiar to our organizations, to our member organizations, because it follows the quality and structure that is familiar in the industry, such as IOSA and OSAGO. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're taking existing governance and quality procedures that's useful for us. I need to speed up, apparently. I'm going to speed up over here. Okay, so, and we also, you may have noticed that I'm speaking about the IEnvA program. This is not just an assessment. I refer to this as a program because we actually work with our member organizations to implement and improve environmental management, to improve their systems. We provide training and workshops to all our member organizations to continue that improvement that they have. And we maintain a body of knowledge, a continuing, evolving body of knowledge as the challenges in aviation changes all the time. We change with that, and we provide that useful information for our members. This IEnvA program is available to all airlines, whether you're an IATA member or non-IATA member, whether you're a low-cost carrier or you are a legacy airline. Notably, our first non-IATA member airline that joined our program, EasyJet, they recently received their full IEnvA registration. We are also working with our first ground services provider, Qatar Aviation Services. They joined the program. And we are also working with our first airport, which is Edmonton International Airport. So, in closing, thank you for your time today. For more information, please go to the IEnvA website where you would, I'm sure, find some more useful information. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I lost my mic as well, so thank you very much. Much appreciated. We'll take questions at the end if you have any. So Quentin, if you want to stay with us for a little bit.